Hi everyone, it's Rosetta with a pick a pile, pick a card tarot reading to answer the question, are we headed for divorce? Are we headed for divorce? So we have 6 cards in each stack of cards, and I'd like you to take a moment to select one of these 4 piles, and then we'll proceed with the reading for each pile, which will be time-stamped in the description. If you'd like to learn more about me and my experience as a tarot reader, a link to information about me will be in the description as well. All right, everyone. So taking a moment to select your preferred stack of cards. All right, keeping those in mind, I'm going to now assign numbers to those various stacks at random, so that a number did not have a bearing on your choice of which stack. This will be group 1. This will be group 2. This will be group 3. And this will be group 4. All right, my beautiful people, here we go. Let me get rid of the final 3 groups, and we'll get started with group 1. All right, everybody, we have the 8 of Pentacles, and don't worry, you'll get a close-up view of each of these cards in a moment. We have the 7 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Cups reversed, the Lovers reversed, the Tower, and the King of Swords. All right. Okay, my overview of this. Are you and your spouse headed for divorce? My overview of this, just real quick, and then we'll go into each card in detail, is that one of you, and it's represented by a male figure here, so I'm going to think that it may be that this is representing your husband, and this would be representing perhaps you. And then once again, we have you yourself and most likely your husband. So this is one of those cases where he feels he's been working really hard, and he does not see that you've been putting in equal effort, especially where money is concerned in this marriage. So he's been bringing in the money he feels, and you've been spending the money he feels. Okay. So let's go take now the cards one by one and see what we have here. Okay, so first of all, we are looking at, here's the depiction in this deck, which is the Dreaming Way Tarot. Here's the depiction of the 8 of Pentacles. And let me give you a view of also the 7 of Pentacles, which has an unusual depiction a little bit in this particular deck. Guys, I'm so sorry about the glare. I wanted my videos to be less dark, so I put some additional lights up at the ceiling, and they're creating, we are brighter, but we're also getting a little more glare. All right, so we have the 7 of Pentacles, which is a person here, a female character here, carrying lots of shopping bags. Okay, and I always read based on the depictions in the particular deck that has been chosen for a particular topic of the reading. So that's why I'm saying, as we look at these cards side by side, here's someone working really hard, his nose to the grindstone, almost literally here. And then here's someone, just by her facial expression, la-di-da, you know, almost bound up in her shopping addiction. So that's what we have in these first two cards. Is this true? Is this what you're doing? Maybe yes, maybe no. But it's the impression that this group of cards says that your spouse feels is what's going on. Is it true or not? We don't know, but it's the perception, at least in this stack of cards. As always, take what you need in this situation and leave the rest. So when you choose a group of cards, the things that resonate with you are the things to think about or to take to heart and ruminate over. And if there's parts of this reading that you can't see any way that they relate to you, leave those alone. Chances are that they don't relate to you personally. All right, so the third card, and I'm going to take the third and the sixth card side by side, but we have the Queen of Cups. Let me let that get into focus. Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups, which is the most loving and motherly queen in the tarot deck, but we have it in reverse. So it may well be that where your husband's opinion is concerned, he feels you're taking more than you're giving. He feels you don't understand how hard he's working. He feels that you're taking him for granted. And he feels that, rightly or wrongly, that you're not, if you're a mom, you are not necessarily even handling your motherly duties in the way that he would like you to. This might be a reading for someone who is so involved in her own activities. And here we see that they're not really your career activities, but other activities, and he feels you're not pulling your weight. He feels that you're more involved in material gain. He feels that you're more interested in spending his money, pay more attention to your own recreational activities perhaps, or your own avocations, than you are on what he feels you should be doing. So that's what this group of cards is spelling out in this situation. So I said I would contrast the Queen of Cups reversed. So let me just turn that right side up because it's not so easy to see the image when it's upside down. And here's where we end up with your spouse. All right, so when we get to the end of all of this, he is judging you severely, rightly or wrongly. Okay, so are you headed toward divorce? Well, gosh, cards 4 and 5 are indicating yes, and the cards are also showing what the seeds of the discontent on terms of your husband are. So, we can get spreads of cards, and who knows, we may see one later, but we can get spreads of cards that show that the wife is more discontented. In this particular spread, we are seeing it's trying to spell out why the husband might be very discontented. And we have the confirmation in the Lovers. Let me turn it right side up for you. Focus. All right, so we have the Lovers, but it's upside down. So these are people who are not seeing eye to eye, who are not in loving companionship and agreement about things. And then we have the Tower, which is one of those cards that often shows up in divorce readings. But it's just when all of life as you knew it is going through a less than smooth transition. So this is not, oh, it's a difficult transition, but okay, we can accept it. It's this transition that really causes a lot of pain to everyone involved. All right, so is there anything you can do about this? So say you have come to this particular reading knowing something's wrong, but knowing, is there anything you can do about it? Well, if either of these cards resonates with you, if you are the wife and either of these makes sense to you, have you been taking your husband for granted? Have you been looking at him just as the guy who brings in the money so you can spend it? Are you more invested in your own personal activities? And often they may be creative endeavors. Are you more interested in your hobbies and pastimes? And are you totally involved with them? Or are you more involved in your female friendships? Are you more involved in hanging out with the girls than you are in your marriage? Those are things you can think about and perhaps talk about with your husband and just get an idea of how he's feeling. Is he feeling some of these ways that we've talked about in this particular stack of cards? All right, so that's what I have for you for group 1. Let's move on to the second group of cards. All right, stack 2. Let's see what we have. All right, we have the 10 of Cups reversed. We have the 8 of Swords reversed. We have the King of Wands upright. We have the Hermit reversed. Oh, this is interesting. We have Temperance reversed. And we have the 9 of Swords reversed. All right, interesting. What is this saying to me here? All right, this is an entire relationship and marriage that is out of balance in so many different ways. But the interesting thing about it is, kind of in the middle, in the third position, we have the King of Wands. So I'm going to relate that to your spouse. So a lot of things are going wrong, but he's not checked out of it yet. He's still there. As reliable and dependable and caring as ever. Okay? But so let's see, what card do we see here to represent you? Well, there can be a couple of things. Okay, so we've got the 8 of Swords reversed, and we have Temperance reversed. So a lot of different things that these cards could mean depending on your situation. So this is definitely, remember, both of these cards are upside down in this reading. So I feel like you, if you are the woman in this situation, have been through a lot in the last period of time. And I see it more as mental and emotional. I don't see this as going through a huge physical illness or a serious physical illness, although it could be. It could represent this. But I see this as mental, because as we have swords here, often representing the element of air. And here we have temperance, and we see the water here. So these are more emotional, mental stresses that you've been going through that very likely may have affected your marriage and stretched it a little bit to the breaking point. So now, if this is representing you, which I believe it is, let's put those back in sequence and let's tell the story here. What I'm seeing here is that you have a lot of choice. Yes, are you headed for divorce? In this case, you have been going through a lot of stress in this marriage. Is it headed for divorce? It's almost like you have some choice over whether it is or it isn't. So I know I'm reading these cards out of order, but then I'm immediately drawn toward looking at the Nine of Swords. And we have seen you as represented by swords here earlier in this reading. Let me turn this right side up. So a lot of times this card is represented or talked about as being waking up from a nightmare. And that really are these things that you're going through imagined or real? Do you have some control over whether you wake up from the nightmare? We've got this card in reverse. So this is making me feel that you may be resisting making the changes you have to make to save this situation if you do want to save it. And I'm looking at the representation of your husband as being a good, solid man. So, I think there is a lot of value to trying to save this situation. He still loves and cares about you. But there's just been an awful lot of chaos going on. There also may have been, and still is, a situation where one or both of you have been isolating from each other. Here's the Hermit. So whoever is isolating, it would be a wonderful thing for this marriage if that person came back into partnership again. So instead of negating the happy family life, if this person were to rejoin a happy family life, whether it's just you and your spouse or whether there are children involved. This is feeling like the balance has been off with the family for a long time. You or both of you have been isolating and pulling away from each other, but your husband wants to be connected. I just love how he's right in the middle of all of this, steady and strong as always, with all of the other cards in reverse, but he's still there. Right? So my message is that, let's just say whoever is the person out of balance, whoever is the person who's been having emotional and possibly mental difficulties, undergoing a lot of stress, to get the help that he or she needs, and to rejoin the conversation, to know that there's support for you here. There's support for you here with your husband, just kind of waiting for you to rejoin him, waiting for you to come out of the hermit's isolation and let him be part of your team. And also other family members as well. Let them come back and be part of the conversation. But not just to hear complaining and same old, and, the stuckness. Because to me, this card, the Nine of Swords in reverse, in this particular reading, it's like you could wake up from this nightmare, but somehow you're stuck. So to take responsibility for this, so it's not just to ask, to expect these people to let you wallow in this situation, but have a plan on your own of what you want to do differently and enlist them on your team. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. As always, take what you need from this and ignore the rest. There's always going to be a couple of good nuggets of advice in every reading, even if all of the cards or if the entire story of this group of cards doesn't happen to apply to you. All right, moving on to the third stack of cards. All right, our third group of cards. Here we go. We have the Fool reversed. We have the Ten of Pentacles. The High Priestess reversed. The Five of Wands reversed. The Eight of Cups reversed, and the Queen of Wands reversed. All right, who is representing you in this reading, and who is representing your husband? Let me move the camera a little bit here. There we go. All right, so I'm leading off, and when I say husband and wife, I say this because 90+% of people who watch my readings are women. I think because of the kind of questions that I tend to read for. So, but certainly, if you see that you are more in this role and that perhaps the other person is more in this role, for example, then feel free to adapt as it applies to your situation or as it resonates with you. As I always say, take what you need from this and leave the rest if certain things don't apply. All right, guys, so we're starting off with the Fool reversed. And I feel like this is someone who was previously excited and energized about the adventure of your marriage, of your life together, and now at this point is less so. Okay? And then I'm looking at the Ten of Pentacles, which in this particular tarot deck, in the Dreamer's Way tarot deck, is, I'm still trying to get the cards away from that glare. Okay. So in a traditional deck, this is one of the happy family that you have now reached the fulfillment of everything that you wanted to have in your family group. And then this older gentleman is usually portrayed as the grandfather, and then in the distance in a garden, you see the rest of the happy family, the husband, the wife, the kids, all rejoicing with everything they could ever have wanted to make them happy. But in this particular card, we've got these two guys kind of gossiping together. And we do have a female character. She looks very cold and detached. And then we have this older character. It's almost saying to me that the things that interest your husband at this point are more related to things outside the marriage, maybe deals that he is working on in his business, or if I think it was in the second pile of cards we had, the character of the woman who was checking out of the marriage because of all of her activities and interests. And here we have something a little bit similar, but on the part of the male character. So, used to be excited and energized about your relationship, not so much anymore. This card, which traditionally represents the happy family group, the multi-generational achievement of everything in life, the passing down of an awesome legacy to the children, all of these things. But here in this particular iconography of this deck, not so much. We don't see any happy family here. We see the wealth, but we see the wealth not being shared among a happy family. So we come to the third card, the High Priestess, which I feel in this particular reading is relating to my usual client, which is a woman. But it's relating to the person in this reading who, try to get it in focus here. The person, there we go. The person in this reading who, because this is in reverse in this particular spread, wants to feel that spiritual and emotional power in you. She wants to feel that she has wisdom and control over her own destiny. But it's in reverse in this particular spread. And it also has her holding a document, which is typically, and here it says it's the Torah, typically is religious writings or arcane religious secrets, but the way I'm reading this here is this person is ready to check out. She's ready for the divorce papers. So when we say, the question for this reading is, are we headed for divorce? This is among the 3 piles that I've read so far. This is, the woman is ready for this, because she's kind of tired of how things have been going. Okay, so then we move on to the 5 of Wands reverse. We've got so many reversals in this particular spread. So again, let me try to get it in focus here. So the way this feels to me is a lot of people are butting into this situation. So this is not just the discontent of 2 people. So if I go back to this 10 of Pentacles card, people are mixing in who don't necessarily have any reason to be putting in their 2 cents, and it's adding to the difficulties. And, this card is in reverse. I'm saying these people should not be listened to. So one of the advice, nuggets of advice that this particular spread is giving to you is listening to others in this situation is not helpful. So we go on to the 5th card, the 8 of Cups. And we have it in reverse. So somebody is willing to walk out here. What we've seen so far in this reading is that I think both people are willing to walk out here. Okay? Both partners have about had it. But should they go? This is in reverse. It's like, well, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. So I brought more lights into this reading, and I'm having more difficulty focusing, though. So we get to the last card. We have the Queen of Wands reversed. So this is definitely harking back to the High Priestess. Let me get these where you can see them. All right, so dissatisfaction. I really like this image. I think that many people who chose this deck of cards, this could be a really apt representation of how you're feeling. Kind of tired, worn out, done with it. So are you headed for divorce? Yes, you are headed for divorce if you want to be. Can anything be salvaged here? So the only bits of advice for this spread, I think, would be don't listen to others who are giving you advice that makes your life together even more difficult than it is. Can your husband be turned around? Can this card be turned around so that he's once again experiencing the excitement and joy that he used to have in your relationship? Well, yes, if you can turn yourself around. So both partners need to step back into their power and realize that the other person is not doing this to either of you. And you can reinvigorate this if you want to. So there's nothing here that can't be turned around. The question is it worth it to you? Do you still love this person? Does this person still love you? Do you care about working on it? And can you kick these Budinskis to the curb? That's the question in this one. All right, you guys, going to the 4th and final stack of cards. And here we go, group 4. First card is the 6 of Cups. 6 of Wands. Oh, what else? Okay, this is a really good start. What else do we have here? 7 of Cups reversed. Sometimes you get those spreads of cards that are really easy to read. This is one of them. Okay, 6 of Pentacles. Page of Wands. The Sun. Are you headed for divorce? My question with these 6 cards is, I would love to know why you think you're headed for divorce or why you might be worried about this. And the way I'm seeing this is if you are the female partner in this, or I guess I'm trying to make these more gender neutral. If you're the person who is asking this question, in this reading, you are the person who is dissatisfied. You are the person who wants to start something new. You're the person who's wondering if this is the best place for you to be. And that's borne out here by the 3rd card, which is the 7 of Cups reversed. So let me give it to you right side up so you can see it. So many options. So many options. Which one do I choose? Right? And so this is saying, we've got it in reverse. So not only, it's time to make a choice about what you really want in life. And what you really want in life is going to impact whether you want to stay in this marriage or not. What else did I want to say about this card? It's on the tip of my tongue. So not only it's time to make a choice, don't be overwhelmed by all the options. Sort of think about what's the most important to you. What's the most important thing to you in life? And then think about your marriage. And does your marriage fit into that? It's not like your husband has to be, or your significant other has to be the most important person, but is he part of that equation? Does he fit into your overall plan? Is he an important part of that plan? Okay, so let's go back to the top and take it one by one. This is a companionable union. I'm going to take, gosh, I feel like I've done a reading lately, not with this deck of cards where these 2 cards came up in the same 6 card spread. And, here they are again. So when we look at your partnership, it's a very loving, friendly partnership. It's not just a passionate partnership, but that you don't get along and it's all about the sex. This is a friendly, loving partnership. And it's followed by, just in case we didn't get the message strongly enough from this card, we also have it directly followed by the 6 of Wands. Okay, so also you can be working on a life goal important to both of you and work together well and be victorious in it. Okay, so I think it all just depends. Is you can work together toward an amazing goal, but is it the goal that you want? And what's interesting, these are both wands. Okay, this is the Page of Wands. So yes, you can be working together and you might be thinking, yeah, but do I really care about that? Do I really want to go off in that direction, or do I want to start something completely new? Do I not care about this anymore? So we said with the 3rd card, there may be a lot of options swirling in your mind. It might even be that you have some kind of infatuation with someone else, perhaps. There's all kinds of choices that can be made here, but which one do you want to make? I go to the 4th card. So this to me is a representation of your partner, and he or she is a very generous partner. And possibly maybe too generous. Maybe what you're feeling here is this person is more invested in doing good in the world than you are, or vice versa. Someone here is a humanitarian and one person is less so. One person really wants to live out the personal life. So that's one of the decisions that I see being made here. So regardless of what you decide, I see a great deal of happiness at the end of it, whatever you decide. So here we've got the Sun, And as we looked at, the youthfulness, it's like the youthfulness of the person who is here with me on this reading. So if, this is you, if you are here wanting to know, are we headed for divorce? And I see here too, look at the beginning of new dreams, okay? And we have a baby. It could be possible too that whether or not to have children might be part of what's going on in this spread. It might be one of these choices that you're trying to decide whether to make. But whether it has anything to do with children in this union or not, this is not only the start of something new and, a beautiful life continuing, whether it is with this partner or not. But what I like about this card is we have a baby this is kind of like springtime, but we also have the harvest. Because the sunflowers come out late in summer. And they're always, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, sunflowers are an element. But this is just a beautiful feeling of happiness. And look what this baby has. So I don't know whether you can make this out, but this is a lollipop that this child is crawling toward. So whatever your dream is, this card is showing that it will be fulfilled. It's just, will it be fulfilled with this person? And I hope that it will be for you, because all signs here are that both of you are good together. This is a loving, solid, amazing partner, which is not always so easy to find. But some choices have to be made about what you really want. And whichever you decide, I see, even if this ends up that you decide not to stay together, I see this as a friendly partnership, not an acrimonious divorce. Okay? So I hope that helps. As always, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Please subscribe. Sending you lots of love, and see you soon.